Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another captivating webinar by Tech to Elevate. Our presenter today is none other than Benjamin Gallegos. He will take us through Google Sheets. Benjamin is a seasoned digital coach serving with Tech to Elevate in Erie. He recently graduated from Allegheny College with a degree in political science. Benj clearly has a passion for community development, making him an invaluable member of the team. Now, without any further ado, I welcome Benjamin to take us through the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Arita. Yeah, really looking forward to give this presentation. So this is part of our webinar series, and I'm going to be going over some of the basics of Google Sheets. This will be a really good introduction if you're not sure what Google Sheets can do for you and you want to understand some of the basics. And then if you want to learn more, you can always come back to us, learn more, find out more, and you can get better with a lot of these different tools. So I'll start by presenting a little something. So this is Google Sheets 101, just a little basic. This is the icon of Google Sheets, and we'll go over how to find there, how to get that, and everything else. And Google Sheets is part of the Google suite of free tools that come to you with a Google account. The way you can make a Google account is by creating a Google email or a Gmail, completely free to make. You can go to Google or any search engine and type in how to make a Gmail account, how do I sign in for Gmail. Pretty simple, doesn't require any money or anything like that. And it gives you a whole series of different tools that you can use, including Google Sheets. So this is what Google Sheets looks like on the inside. As you can see, it is a digital spreadsheet, and it helps make a lot of your work a lot easier. And as you can see, it comes in rows and columns, and then each one of those creates a different cell. So you can type in different information into each cell, words, text, numbers, etc. And through the help of Google Sheets, it can help organize those numbers. It can give you graphs. It can do a whole bunch of things through that. But you can see the basic layout again, the columns 1 through, and it just keeps going, and then the rows A, B, C, D, E. And that can help organize the basic structure. So Google Sheets is similar if you guys know Excel or other programs like that that are also digital spreadsheets and things of that nature. And so the digital spreadsheets help in a couple ways. First, they just make it very easy to access your information, right? It's on your computer. You don't have to find a physical piece of paper. They're not going to get ruined or anything like that. But it also makes it easier to actually do calculations once you have that information. So let's say you have a large set of data. If you're collecting it for your business, for your own personal interest, for a scientific study, whatever it may be, sometimes it can be tough to sort through all of that data, especially when there's numbers and words and all sorts of different things that aren't necessarily most congruent. So it can be easy to use Google Sheets. You can put in mathematical equations and it does the math for you. It sorts your numbers for you, right? If you have so many people who said yes to an event and so many people who said no to an event, it can count how many yeses you have, count how many no's you have. And so that can make it very easy with a large data set. Another thing that it can do is it can help display your data in a very easy to understand manner through graphs, tables, charts, and other forms of graphic displayment. So with Google Sheets, you can tell it to make a pie chart, you can tell it to make a bar graph or anything of that nature, and it'll make it very easily for you, and it kind of steps you through the process of making those charts. The last thing, like I said a little bit earlier, is it helps you organize that data. So if you want to find the people who said yes to an event, who said that they would pay over a certain amount, but under a certain amount, you can find the total amount of people that said that. You can also say, oh, people who didn't want to buy it, what price range would they buy it at? And you can sort for if people said no, right? How much money would they have spent? And you can find the average for how much money they would have spent in these hypothetical scenarios. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use the data, and we'll go into that more once we actually get into the Google Sheets. So Google Sheets, Excel, a lot of other programs have a lot of similarities, but there are a couple things that I think makes Google Sheets typically more beneficial than some of these other programs, especially when you're starting out. First off, Google Sheets is free with your Google Suite. That's really important because it's easy to access, it's free. You don't have to worry about, paying for a software that you may not understand or you may not even need. It's also fairly easy There are a lot of difficult things that you can, or more complex things that you can do with Google Sheets and Excel, but Google Sheets makes it as simple as possible. And we'll go over the ways that they kind of help walk you through that process. The second thing is Google Sheets is very collaborative. So in real time, you and everyone else on your team, 10 other people can all be on the same document editing it at virtually the same time, right? There might be a couple seconds lag through the internet, but other than that, everyone's on there at the same time working together. Excel and other programs are working towards doing this. And to my knowledge, Excel has a collaborative feature, but it's not as far along as Google Sheets. The last thing is, while Google Sheets may be free, it may be easy. It's easy to use in a lot of ways. It's still incredibly powerful. It still meets all of the things that you would need from an Excel or another sort of program. And so I think that there's not really much of a reason not to use Google Sheets, at least for the start, since it's free and you can get a good feel of how these different softwares work. So now we're going to go over how you can actually get to Google Sheets, and then we can kind of see what it looks like on the inside. Let's go. So if you're just on Google, you can just type in Google Sheets. It'll come up with this logo or maybe this logo, and you can sign in through your Google account, which is just your Gmail, email, username, and password, which again, if you don't have, is free to set up. And so this is what Google Sheets looks like on the inside again, rows and columns, like I said. And then I'm going to show you just one other way to quickly get into a Google Sheet. If you're on any new tab on Google Chrome, over here is what's often called the waffle icon. Through here, you can see all of the different Google apps that you have access to once signed into your account, as denoted up here. You can see Gmail, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google Docs, Slides, all of these different features come through your Google account. And from there, you can go Google Sheets. And there we are. You can see that you can create a blank spreadsheet, which is what we had in the other document, but there are also a whole bunch of templates, and the templates are really nice if you're not entirely sure how to set something up. So you can see they have a lot of different ways to display data, if it's schedule, calendars, rosters, things of that nature, and you can also get graphs, data, and charts for a whole slew of different things that you can do with the software. I'm going to show you something that I've already put together a little bit to show you some of the more basic features that you can do with Google Sheets. So this is a document I made, and you can see, to make it a little bit easier to understand, to make it a little quicker to go through, you can quickly color in whatever you want by clicking on the cell, paint bucket, whatever color you want. You can change the text color as well, pretty simply. A lot of the basic features that you would expect from a Word or different kind of like Pages document where you can type different things like that. So you can change the font, the size, all things like that. And then here you have the different cells and the columns. You can grow and stretch them from here. You can add new columns by right-clicking on each cell or column. You can insert one above or below. So it's very versatile in terms of the things that you can do. And you can see right now, I have this section colored out so it's easy to see what I'm looking at. But these really do go on, so you can put in as much data as you want. Some of the features just to look forward to that you can learn more about in the future, right? There are a lot of different options. You can do checkboxes, you can do drop downs, and all of these different tools can be found through the insert, right? You can insert charts, drawings, columns, rows, sheets, emojis, checkboxes. So there are a lot of different tools that you can use. And now I'm going to go over some of the very basic functions on Google Sheets that once you start learning these, it makes it a lot easier to understand the rest of Google Sheets. So you can see here I have some formulas written out, and I have just a set of heads or tails and some numbers as some fake data to go through. So let's say that we wanted to find the formula, and I'm going to type in a new one here. The way you start is you start off by an equal sign, And that's how it knows that you're calling a formula, and then you type in what you want to do, and it gives you all of these preset recommendations of what it thinks you want. So we want to sum things, which is addition, so we're just adding things together. What's nice about Google Sheets, like I said before, it really helps talk you through the process. So it shows you, it made the parentheses for us, and it tells you to put value 1. So we'll do value 1. You can either type D3, and it'll find it like that. And then it tells you that you want to hit the comma to get to the next value. Instead of typing, we can also just click on the cell we want. So let's say we click on E5, and then we go back to here, and it says that that's pretty much all we need to do. We can continue going with another comma and add more information, or we can finish out that parentheses. And then you just hit enter, and it says that it's already telling you what that is, and that's 10. The reason you start with an equal sign is because you're basically just doing the second half of the equation, and everything in your cell gives you the answer. So that already did the math for us, and there's a whole bunch of different formulas you can use. You can do sum, you can do average, count, count if, sum if. And so, for example, average tells you if there's a set of numbers, right, 1 through 10, it'll tell you that the average is 5. Or sum can tell you how many are in a certain category. So, right, it'll say each one of these is one individual number, and you can do sum if. So sum if would be if the answer is heads, it'll count how many numbers say heads, or you can do sum if tails. It'll count how many numbers are tails. So again, there are a lot of different ways that you can use Google Sheets. I don't want you to get overwhelmed yet, but the important thing is that it's pretty easy to use, and that there's a lot of features that you can explore on your own that Google Sheets will help talk you through. Is a very powerful tool. The last thing I want to show you real quick is I want to show you what the collaboration feature looks like. So if I go, I have a separate window open. So you can see now that someone has joined. Up at the top, it says that there's another B, which is just my other email. And then here it has a cell saying that I've appeared. And then I can type into that cell. And as soon as I hit enter, it should have appeared for you all. And so now it knows that I'm there, and that I'm entering information right at the same time. And I can enter information. I can even delete what they said, and now it's gone, and they can go back and say whatever else they want in turn. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use Google Sheets, and it's very easy to quickly collaborate. You can go up to the chat if you want to talk to other people in your team. You can go into the history to see what edits have been made throughout the history, to see who did what in your work. And so Google gives you a lot of those built-in kind of cloud features that you may not get on other softwares. So thank you for joining this presentation on Google Sheets 101. I hope you learned a lot. I know that there's a lot to learn about Google Sheets. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us at tech2elevate.org.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Benjamin, for that insightful presentation. I've really learned a lot. I thought I knew Google Sheets, but I've learned bits and pieces. So thank you very much. And as Benjamin said, we are open to teaching you more. If there's a question that you have, if there is something that you need to learn some more, please reach out to us at Tech to Elevate. Our information is on the website, www.tech2elevate.org. Thank you very much for participating in this webinar, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.